Long ago, before the great kingdoms rose and fell, a deadly war swept across a land now called Monjo Wavifo, the field of death. It was a war so fierce, even the ancestors whispered about it. Warriors from many villages united to defend their land, their cries of battle echoing in the hills. Their shields clashed, their spears flew, and the ground turned red with blood. But in their darkest hour, their leaders abandoned them, fleeing into the night and leaving the soldiers to die. Betrayed and broken, the warriors fell one by one, their souls bound to the cursed battlefield by their rage and despair. The people of Ntokwe lived under the shadow of this curse for generations. The field of death lay just beyond the village, shrouded in mist, where no bird sang and no animals grazed. Strange things happened near the field, livestock would vanish, and villagers who wandered too close never returned. Families mourned, but the elders remained silent, their faces heavy with unspoken knowledge. They forbade anyone from speaking of the cursed field, believing their silence would protect the village. Yet, year after year, the disappearances continued, and fear grew like a poison in the hearts of the people. One boy, however, refused to accept the silence. His name was Zuba, a curious and determined soul. When Zuba was just a child, his parents had vanished without a trace. He grew up hearing the whispers of the villagers, piecing together fragments of the truth. As he grew older, his questions became bolder, and the elders' warnings only fueled his curiosity. By the time he turned 16, Zuba had made up his mind. He would uncover the secrets of the field of death, no matter the cost. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Zuba crept to the edge of the forbidden field. The air grew cold, and a heavy mist rolled in, swallowing the trees and the ground. He felt a chill run down his spine but pressed on, his heart pounding in his chest. The field stretched before him, silent and still. Then, faint whispers rose from the ground, voices carried by the wind. At first, they were soft, almost indistinguishable from the rustling leaves. But as Zuba stepped closer, the whispers grew louder, forming words that chilled his blood. Betrayed. Forgotten. Suddenly, the ground beneath him trembled. Shadows began to rise from the earth, forming the shapes of warriors. Their faces were hollow, their eyes glowing like embers. At the center stood a towering figure, his armor rusted but still imposing. It was Captain Omori, the leader of the betrayed soldiers. His gaze fell on Zuba, sharp and unyielding. "Why do you come here, child?" Omori's voice was deep and filled with sorrow. Zuba swallowed his fear and stepped forward. "I want to know the truth. My parents disappeared, just like so many others. Why does this land curse us?" Omori's eyes softened, but his voice remained heavy. "Your parents, like many others, were taken because the living ignored our pain. We were abandoned in life and forgotten in death. Our anger binds us here, and we seek justice for the betrayal we suffered." Zuba's heart ached as he listened. "What can we do to help you find peace?" Omori stared at him for a long moment before speaking. "Your elders know the truth. They have always known. Ask them why they let this curse linger." The next day, Zuba returned to the village and called a meeting. Standing before the elders, he demanded answers. The villagers gathered around, their faces a mix of fear and curiosity. "Why did you keep this from us?" Zuba's voice trembled with anger. "The spirits are restless because of what happened long ago, yet you said nothing as our people disappeared." The elders exchanged uneasy glances. Finally, Mzikolum, the oldest among them, stepped forward. His voice was heavy with guilt. "We were afraid," he admitted. "The betrayal of those soldiers brought a curse upon this land. We thought silence would protect us, but it seems we were wrong. The spirits demand justice, but we did not know how to face them." Zuba's eyes burned with determination. "Then it is time to make things right." Under Zuba's leadership, the villagers prepared to confront the spirits. They gathered offerings of food, weapons, and carvings, and they dug graves to honor the fallen soldiers. When night fell, they approached the field of death, their torches lighting the misty air. Fear gripped their hearts, but Zuba's courage inspired them to press on. As they entered the field, the spirits appeared once more, their forms towering and menacing. Captain Omori stepped forward, his voice echoing across the field. "What have you come to do?" he asked. Zuba stepped forward, holding a wooden carving in his hands. "We have come to honor you," he said. "We will bury your bones and give you the respect you deserve. Your story will not be forgotten." The villagers walked through the night, carefully placing the remains of each soldier in the earth. They marked the graves with carvings and whispered prayers of peace. As they finished, the air grew still, and the spirits began to fade. Captain Omori's figure lingered a moment longer. He looked at Zuba, a faint smile on his spectral face. "You have done what your elders would not," he said. "You have given us peace. May your village prosper, and remember this lesson: honor the sacrifices of the past, for they shape the future." With those words, Omori and his soldiers disappeared, their forms dissolving into the night sky. The heavy mist lifted, and the field of death became a place of peace. The disappearances ceased, and the village thrived once more. Zuba became a hero, his bravery celebrated in songs and stories. And though the spirits were gone, the people of Ntokwa never forgot their lesson: to honor the fallen and to never let silence bury the truth.